Hello everybody, David Shuster here. If you are heading to a gas station, be prepared for sticker shock.
You've seen a really epic rise in the price of gas, $3.48 right now. Just look, a week ago it was below $3 a gallon, and it's dramatically more than it was last month and last year. The problem here is the price of oil. The price of oil overnight jumped above $100 a barrel.
Brent is up 12.5% right now. That is up to 104.30. Crude oil is up 12%. And if you look at this chart here, you can see that Brent is up 45% in a week.
And it's going to be worse for the price of diesel, which could jump 35 to 50 cents a gallon. That would put it close to nearly a $5 a gallon national average.
Diesel is what trucks use to transport most consumer goods. So the prices of all kinds of products are also about to rise. All of this is because of the war against Iran.
So the world is now a little more than a week into the largest oil disruption ever in history. The 20 million barrels a day that have stopped flowing from Hormuz to the world is twice the amount of the biggest last disruption, which was all the way back in the 1950s, believe it or not, the Suez Crisis.
Hormuz is a reference to the Strait of Hormuz.
It's only a 20-mile stretch of sea between Iran and Oman, and actually only a 2-mile wide sea lane.
Typically, 80 oil tankers a day go through the strait, or about 20% of all the world's oil production. Now, because of the war, nothing is going through the strait. And it's stopping not just oil shipments, but also Middle Eastern oil production.
The problem is you've got these big oil producers in the region who have started producing less oil because guess what? Their storage facilities are full. They can't get them on any more ships because the ships are in the Strait of Hormuz. We are seeing a fifth of the world's energy supply just stuck, a bottleneck. A lot of experts, energy experts, never thought they'd see this, where you have maybe one ship in a week going through there when usually it's 80 ships a day.
Can't take another few weeks of this. I think we're going to see galloping further increases in oil prices, and it's going to start to hurt equities as well. So we all have to hope those tankers start up again.
Equities are another way of saying stocks and business shares. And the U.S. stock market has already plunged thanks to the oil crisis.
You have a stock market that is clearly rattled by an escalating war in the Middle East, and the big concern is an inflation shock because of dramatically higher energy prices. You talked about that crude oil price topping $100 a barrel overnight. Let me give you the number for reference. Before the U.S. and Israel launched airstrikes in Iran, oil prices were $67 a barrel. So in a matter of just over a week, 10 days now, you've had a dramatic increase in a very core cost for business and governments.
And the costs have not spiked this high in 4 years.
We're watching investor reaction on Wall Street to the war in Iran. Looking right now live at the big board, you see we're in negative territory there. A barrel of oil costs more than $100 per barrel. That's today, and that's the highest it's been since 2022.
You can see this chart over time. The last time it was this high was when Russia invaded Ukraine, and that height was at June of 2022.
June of 2022, that's the last time oil prices skyrocketed like this. And now the price per gallon of gasoline across the United States averages $3.48, up nearly 50 cents in a week.
Gas stations are seeing their costs go up in real time again today as oil markets are jumping. And that's going to mean another round of price increases over the course of this week. Prices could jump another 15 to 35 cents a gallon for gasoline over the next 3 days, as long as nothing changes.
And that means if nothing changes and the Strait of Hormuz remains blocked off, the average price of gasoline in the United States could soon reach $4 a gallon.
The president shrugged off the rise in oil prices, calling it a very small price to pay for USA and world safety and peace.
What the CNN anchor did not read was that last line that Trump wrote, "Only fools would think differently." Well, American consumers are not being fooled by Donald Trump. And on top of the dramatic price spikes for energy, higher prices are also coming for food, consumer goods, and transportation.
It's not just gas, though, John. Jet fuel, right? Jet fuel prices have skyrocketed. United Airlines CEO warning that could raise the cost of airfare. And diesel as well. Diesel prices, they're actually up by even more than gasoline on a percentage basis. 24% increase. This is a 3-year high. And look, this is bad news for farmers, for railroads, for trucks, and ultimately, John, for consumers, because everyone is indirectly paying the cost of diesel when they're buying stuff.
Now, just as quickly as energy prices have gone up, they could also start to come down. The price of oil dropped below $100 per barrel at one point on this day, simply because leaders in Europe spoke about opening up their strategic oil reserves. Also, if the United States could somehow eliminate the Iranian missile attacks on cargo ships and protect the oil tankers that need to go through the Strait of Hormuz, energy prices would start to fall again. The Trump administration has promised to provide Navy escorts to all cargo ships trying to go through the strait, and the cargo companies are reportedly considering it.
We're going to have to really see if ships turn on their ADS, their transponders. Do they have enough confidence to put at risk $100 to $250 million in cargoes? That's the biggest question. If we see that, oil prices could plummet by 15% rather quickly, but keep in mind, every day this situation has been ongoing. We've lost roughly 20 million barrels of oil and products that would have flowed through the market. As you've mentioned, oil-producing countries like Kuwait and Iraq already throttling back on oil production. So there's going to be some slack that still does not allow oil to fall back to its pre-war level for quite some time. Now, Secretary of Energy has said weeks. The president has illustrated weeks. I think it's going to be more measured and months. And every day the situation continues, it could add another several weeks to the recovery time.
Weeks, if not months, of high oil prices. And that's the sort of analysis that is causing heartburn for stock traders, investors, and anybody who has money on Wall Street. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, which was at 50,000 just a few weeks ago, has dropped nearly 7%. And the losses began piling up even before the Iran war began, thanks to horrible reports in the United States about the U.S. labor market and about declines in manufacturing. Virtually nothing in the U.S. economy is helped by higher energy prices. And the only question now is whether the damage to U.S. businesses and consumers remains severe and expensive, or whether the economic crash from the war intensifies and becomes catastrophic. By the way, I mentioned the plunging Trump jobs report. The recent numbers have left conservative news anchors and hosts stunned.
Non-farm payrolls, minus 92,000, minus 92,000. That is a biggie.
As you can see the market reacting, we are also seeing the unemployment rate tick up to 4.4%. A loss of factory jobs of 12,000, government jobs, a loss of 6,000, private sector jobs, a loss of 86,000.
Check out that video at the link below. It generated a lot of comments on YouTube. One of the most popular is from Sarah, who wrote, "Why are they so surprised? Did they not remember his first disaster of a term?" Well said. I look forward to reading your comments about Donald Trump and his Iran war causing energy prices to skyrocket. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us.